Hey there, Lord Danavan Hylton, wishing you a continued great day and hoping all is well. And since we're talking about the topic of positioning, here's one way that you can position yourself as an expert and a leader in your industry, both in the short and the long term, especially if you don't have any working capital, starting with yourself. It's called getting the work done, getting your hands dirty, and doing the work yourself, being an actual servant. Now, you basically saying, hey, I'm doing this service for free or I'm doing this service for this amount of money is up to you. But I know that when you're usually new, rookie, and maybe I'm just underthinking myself here, but if you're really new in the industry and you're still learning as far as your own skill sets, volunteering is always a good way to start. Because one, it opens up obviously job opportunities because people are going to be looking at you now. You're actually going through the motions. It's just you're not actually getting that salary or that paycheck. But that does open the immediate door. And two, volunteering also allows you to put experience on your resume for your personal or professional brand. It also gives you a chance to get experience so that you can grow within your career, within your own skill sets and experience, thus making you at a consulting point, at an advising point, an expert in your field. And so you can always start at the volunteership, but the bottom line is, especially when it comes to nonprofit organizations, community organizations, you're looking to build this message or brand. At the end of the day, you're building a brand new brand, which is a whole child-like, if you will, in itself. It takes a lot of nurturing, a lot of caring, and a lot of times, because everyone has their own children they're dealing with, you have to focus on your own, meaning be prepared and accept the fact that you're going to be the only one promoting your brand. And that's okay, because it's an opportunity for you to create for yourself, which is the whole option. Someone informed me that as long as you stay aligned, once you know your purpose and what you're supposed to be doing, you're supposed to be moving toward that at all times. It's kind of like going to a grocery aisle. Shout out to Dr. George Craig Williams, who informed me it's kind of like going to a grocery aisle and you have a thing item that you know that you got to go pick up. And just while you're going down the aisle. But there's so many different products to the left and right of you that a lot of times you could find yourself staying in the aisle longer than usual, looking at other products, possibly buying more, going over the budget, and not sticking to the plan compared to going in and just getting that item because you have so many options. Just going out and serving and just getting, the actual activity, the actual action started. That's the whole purpose of one, putting yourself in a position to start building your brand by first showing your experience and expertise. Because you can say, at least I volunteered for these organizations or worked on these projects. You're going to learn some things. You're going to meet some people. They're going to stick to you and get to know you and be a great reference source for you. You have an opportunity for employment through the organizations or by just you going through the activities of doing what you're supposed to be doing. There's so many opportunities there. And it gives you also a grassroots organic way for people to really get to know and stand behind you and your message. Now, of course, that makes you self-employed, which is the S quadrant. And I believe what Robert Kiyosaki always wants us to do is to transition as quickly and as best we can in grace from the S quadrant to the B quadrant, where we're actually running and building and developing systems. But first, you got to usually start with yourself and just build that brand. You got to be okay with knowing that no one may work with you to build your brand, because building a brand and coming out and providing an expertise and a service or even a product, but mostly a service, it takes time. It's like a baby. You got to birth it, nurture it, and go through those processes. And so, actually getting strong, loyal references and feedbacks, as well as, to represent your brand and name is always a good thing, and volunteering is one way to do it. Especially for nonprofits, you got to understand, especially if you're looking to build, if you're looking to build capital for your nonprofit, you got to understand the grants and all those things are there, the advertisers are there, but you got to keep in mind, one, what have you done with the resources that you've had for yourself? And the resource starts with you physically, with your time and your talent. And so what are you doing for yourself, and being okay with long term you are by yourself and you are managing the operation if it's that important to you. And over time, obviously, you got to get your skill set up to start putting together systems. But if you want to know quickly, again, how do you put as you're building positioning and being seen as a starter, as an expert, even the positioning of how you began in your history. Well, I start off volunteering to the point of the end point where you're actually helping to run and drive and control industries and markets. You know, the story of actually saying I started at least with servitude is a great way for you to get into the game, for you to also build your brand and your story. And that's how you position yourself, pointing yourself in the right direction on building your customer base and your presence in the community. Thank you for liking, subscribing, sharing this message, as well as clicking the link and going to the Cash App and going to the website there and donating what you felt this message was worth to you. Thank you. And as well as thank you for visiting the link if you're looking to take the corporate ambassador training so that you can become the best representation of yourself as well as any brand that you represent in your personal and professional life. And that includes representation, both verbal and nonverbal, communication, verbal and nonverbal, soft skill training, as well as emotional intelligence. All those things encompassing you representing yourself in a brand goes into your values and behaviors as well in your mindset. Thank you so much. Wishing you the best, and see you at the top. Peace.